intro just for you.
It is about time. Let's break this mother down. With Shizzywhiznut.
An open letter to the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. Congratulations on your faceplant, Day 1 recap. Dear Commonwealth. Well, that was your big opening, huh? That was the showstopper. Gotta say, fellas, when you spent 2 years building that house of cards, I guess it makes sense your first day in court would look like amateur hour at a magic show run by toddlers. I mean, sure, we knew you were going to fumble the bag, but I didn't expect you to eat a big bag of dicks and choke on the receipt before lunchtime. But hey, credit where credit's due. At least you committed. You really stood there with a straight face and tried to sell the jury on the idea that Karen Reed, in the middle of a snowstorm, just suddenly snapped for the very first time ever, spun her Lexus around like she was auditioning for Fast and the Furious Mansfield Drift, and took out her cop boyfriend and then left him there like a yard gnome on Brian Albert's front lawn, while 6 people walked out front door and somehow didn't notice a 6'2", 220-pound corpse just doing snow angels in the front yard. I mean, bravo, really. That takes a certain level of kaputs. You had to know how stupid that sounded, but you still showed up in court, suited up, and delivered that like you were reading bedtime stories for the first 48 crew. Now, this is the open letter to the 2-star witness Karen Reed trial, Timmy the tap dance dancer and the Carrie the clutch player. Dear Timothy Nuttall and Carrie Roberts, thank you. No, really, thank you for volunteering as the prosecution's emotional support animals in the second installment of the Karen Reed Show, brought to you by White Claw Bev and the Commonwealth players. Watching you both stumble through your testimonies was like witnessing a bad community theater production of 12 Angry Clowns. Let's start with you, Timothy. Consistency is optional, not all. You were the prosecution's first witness, the grand opening act. The guy meant to set the tone, and boy, did you ever. Nothing like kicking off a murder trial with a witness who can't remember how many times the alleged killer confessed. Was it 2 times, Timmy? 3, 5, 17? Or were you just picking numbers like Powerball tickets, hoping that one of them would stick? Maybe if Karen had screamed, "I hit him," 47 times and spray painted it on the side of her SUV, we'd believe you nailed the count. But when it's 2 one day, 3 the next, and your excuse is basically, "Oopsie, my bad." I mean, you're a paramedic, Timmy. You're supposed to assess situations under pressure, but apparently when it comes to counting to 3, that's where your skills tap out. You'd think the first and loudest alleged confession of murder you ever heard might be the kind of thing you'd lock into the old memory banks, but no. First it was 2 times, now it's 3. Next retrial, I have to expect you to roll in with a whiteboard and tally marks. Oh, and your big evidence that Karen Reed had blood on her face. Real impressive deduction there, shithead. I mean, you mean the woman who was screaming, sobbing, and trying to save the life of her dying boyfriend had blood on her? Wow. Case closed. Next, you'll be telling us water is wet and the Canton PD can't investigate their way out of a paper bag. Actually, strike that last one. We already knew they couldn't. You know who else probably had blood on them, Timmy? You. But I'm guessing the prosecution didn't ask if you confessed. You were the big opener, Timmy. The prosecution's show pony, and all you managed to prove is that their case is built on nothing but vibes, taillight dust, and a group chat full of meatheads. Hell, your best contribution to a murder case is, "I can't remember how many times she maybe kind of sort of said something." Your testimony belongs in the recycling bin, but hey, thanks for showing up. Enjoy your participation ribbon. Now on to Carrie Plow Theory Roberts. Carrie. What a performance. When They needed a friend to throw Karen under the bus, or I guess under the plow. In your version, you really rose to the occasion. You got up there and told the world about that early morning phone call like you were auditioning for the Lifetime original movie. I woke up hysterical and forgot the plot. Well, let's be clear here, Carrie. Karen Reed didn't call her lawyer that night. She didn't run and hide. She didn't sit in the dark hoping nobody noticed. No, she called you because she trusted you. She believed that you, the so-called friend, might actually give a shit that something was wrong. And you turned that call into the prosecution's emotional Trojan horse. You rolled up to the witness stand, painted Karen's hysteria as guilt, and served it to the jury like it was some kind of damning confession. You didn't tell the story of a woman in shock. You told the story of the Commonwealth needed. You told the story that fit their narrative, not the truth, not the whole picture, but the soundbite they could sell. You took a woman crying, "Oh my God, John is dead," and twisted it into, "See, she must have done it." That's not testimony, Carrie. That is character assassination with a downside of cowardice. But sure, tell me again how that makes you the prosecution's star player. Let's be clear about what you delivered. Karen called screaming to you that John was dead. She was panicked, hysterical, devastated. She wondered if he was hit by a plow. A plow, I mean, nothing says sure murder like a half-remembered snowstorm theory, shouted through sobs. And what did you do, Carrie? You got on that stand. You played armchair psychologist trying to paint your close friend as guilty because she was drunk and distraught and couldn't remember the night perfectly. Well, newsflash, that's called trauma, not testimony, moron. Oh, and while we're here, Carrie, let's chat about your favorite little jab at Karen. She was so drunk she couldn't even remember the night. Cute, real cute. Now, remind me, wasn't there a whole house full of hammered cops at that party? Didn't a room full of public servants drink the same damn drinks, stand in the same goddamn kitchen, and somehow none of them saw John O'Keefe leave? Weird how Karen's drinking makes her guilty, but everybody else's drinking makes them innocent bystanders. Well, that's weird. How Karen's blackout is a crime, but 34 very few collective amnesia is just boys being boys. Must be nice to have that kind of privilege, huh, Carrie? You sat there like you were the ghost of phone calls past, delivering the prosecution's only real evidence, vibes and drunk dialing. And while we're here, if you're going to crucify Karen Reed for heavy drinking at a cop-heavy house party, I have one question, Carrie. Where's the lineup for everyone else who was at that party getting hammered? Or is it amnesia only a felony when it happens to the woman in the defendant's chair? Forget that they lawyered up faster than you can say qualified immunity. Forget that one of them destroyed his phone. Forget the evidence that was shifted, buried, and withheld. We've got Carrie and her phone call analysis. Case closed. The reality is, Carrie, your testimony was about establishing truth. It wasn't about supplying a vibe. You were there to push the prosecution's favorite image of Karen Reed, the unstable, hysterical, drunken woman, the crazy ex-girlfriend, the emotional liability who just must have done it because the guys at the party couldn't have, right? No way. Well, to both of you, congrats on making the prosecution look worse. Let me explain how this works to me, Carrie. If you're the best witnesses on the prosecution's roster, it's not Karen Reed who looks guilty, it's the case that looks stupid. Between Nuttall's choose your own number of confessions tour and Carrie's I think I heard her maybe say something while she was sobbing recital, we're left with the legal equivalent of a third grader's book report on a movie they fell asleep halfway through. But hey, thanks for playing. Your testimony will sit proudly on the shelf next to the broken taillight, the missing cell phones, and the evidence bags marked totally legit. Don't ask questions. Well, sleep well knowing you did your part. Yours in jaw-dropped amazement, Shizzywhiznut. Short bus historian of state-sanctioned theater, Velcro-strapped, caffeine-fueled, and still wondering why anyone thinks this case isn't an insult to common sense.
It is about time. Let's break this mother down. With Shizzywhiznut.